Hello, everybody. My name is Jason Esler, and I am going to be talking about the 7 habits of highly effective people today. This is a principles centered approach to personal and organizational effectiveness. So, this is inside and out leadership. This is the foundation of actual real change. The character ethic versus quick fixes, right? Stephen R. Covey's transformative work challenges the allure of surface level personality techniques and manipulation tactics. Instead, he advocates for more of a character ethic, building effectiveness on really timeless principles like integrity, responsibility, mutual respect, all things that we've been learning throughout our classes here at Tech. So real effectiveness that doesn't come from learning clever techniques or mimicking charismatic leaders, right? Charismatic leaders. It emerges from aligning your actions with values and consistently choosing principle based responses over maybe reactive behaviors. And so private victories before public ones is incredibly important, right? This journey follows really a truly deliberate progression. So, first, you have to master yourself, then, you build a healthy interdependence with others. You begin with self management, being proactive, clarifying purpose, and really executing priorities. That's the foundation of what it is. And only then can we create like a genuine collaboration through mutual benefit, deep understanding, and really creative synergy. So, this inside out approach means that you can't shortcut interpersonal successes. The foundation must be solid. Uh, Personal discipline, clear values, and authentic character development is crucial. So, initially, we master self management, then we build interdependence, and then we sustain that through renewal. So, we maintain physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual vitality. And this is really a sustainable blueprint for leading yourself and others. So, the 7 habits form an integrated system for making better choices, um, strengthening relationships, and delivering meaningful results without exhausting yourself in the process. So, this isn't about working harder, it's about working from principle. And when you practice these habits consistently, you're going to see a shift from merely reacting to the circumstances around you to consciously choosing responses that align with your deepest values. You stop firefighting and start building. The habits that you create a positive feedback loop that each small victory reinforces the next. And it really does start to compound over time. I can attest to that. So continuous renewal of across these like really 4 dimensions, right? Physical health, mental sharpness, emotional resilience, and spiritual grounding. This keeps the engine running strong, per se, right? And so without renewal, even the best systems, they're eventually going to break down. With it, you build capacity, right? That grows over year, and it enables a sustainable leadership that serves in both results and relationships within your company. And so, about Stephen R. Covey, I mean, his credentials and impact is huge. Stephen R. Covey was an educator. He was an author. He leadership consultant whose work fundamentally shaped modern thinking about personal and organizational effectiveness. He earned his MBA from Harvard Business School, a doctorate from BYU, um, professor at BYU's Marriott School of Management. He founded the Covey Leadership Center, and he co-created Franklin Covey, a global training firm. So his book, it became an international bestseller, influencing leadership development programs in corporations, educational institutions, and government agencies worldwide. Covey's lasting contributions centers on principle-based effectiveness. So the 5 leadership lessons from the 7 habits. These all right. So this is what I took from the book. Okay, the following lessons distill Covey's framework into practical leadership applications. Basically, each includes concrete reflection on how to embed these principles into daily practice. So we want to move from concept to committed action. So first of all, being proactive. Be your own response, right, and expand your circle of influence. Secondly, we want to begin with the end in mind. We want to lead with purpose and align decisions to desired outcomes. Um, first things first, right? That's a great one because executing the right priorities, not just the urgent ones, huge. Think win-win. So building agreements that strengthen results in relationships and seeking first to understand, so big. Listen empathetically before presenting your viewpoint. All right, so for that first lesson, being proactive, this is ownership over reactivity. Leadership starts with the freedom to choose your own response. And so being proactive means that we're taking full responsibility for our influence, energy, commitments, instead of defaulting to blame or excuse making. You recognize that between stimulus and response lies a space of moment where you can choose. In that space resides your power. And so proactive leaders focus attention on what they can control, their attitudes, their preparation, their follow through, right? And they expand their circle of influence through consistent, value aligned action. So, my personal reflection on this, and it's a practical implementation, is that I want to adapt a control versus concern filter. And I want that into like a weekly planning and team stand-ups, committing only to actions that I truly own. And so I can track these instances where I shift from venting, which we've all been there, right, to proposing next steps that can be reviewed metrically monthly. Okay. And then, so the second lesson, right, beginning with the end in mind, leading with purpose, right, is another huge one. Because this habit, it really requires us to clarify a compelling why. And we've all heard that before, right? Like what is your why? And so we can clarify what that why is before getting lost in how. And leadership, it means articulating the desired outcome with a precision, with aligning roles, with measures that to purpose, and really testing every decision against whether it moves you closer to the end state. So on lesson 3, we're looking at put first things first, execute the right priorities. Now, having a clear destination means absolutely nothing, right? If we spend all that time on trivial urgencies, right? On trivial matters. And so this habit, it's really is the discipline side of the vision. We want to, the important before the urgent. And so leaders who master this habit, they're going to design systems that protect time for strategic work. It's going to, coaching, risk mitigation, not just firefighting all the time. I know I've said that, but it's really important that we stay away from firefighting. It's fundamentally about courage. It's to say no to good opportunities and to say yes to the best ones. And so my personal commitment is that I really want to block 2 recurring, important, not urgent, deep work windows weekly. Sprint planning. I want to cap work in progress and really require labeled, top 3 priorities. So this way, my weekly reviews, they're going to be able to share, I can share it on my calendar and show what I spent on strategic versus reactive work. And that way we can increase our strategic focus uh, every quarter. And so um, when we talk about lesson 4, right? Um, win-win agreements and empathetic listening. Um, Win-win isn't really soft compromise, right? It's principled negotiation, and you balance that courage and consideration to craft agreements. And so, my application for this is that I really want to draft a win-win brief, right? Specify shared goals, roles, resources, success metrics before work begins, right? Before we do the job. And so that way we can get joint retrospective of, and we can evaluate outcomes and relationships together. And so when conflict arrives, I can say, hey, these are my non-negotiables, right? And we can invite other people to share theirs. So that way we kind of design a mutually satisfying program. And then so lastly, seek first to understand and listen like a leader. Wow. Yeah. Effective leaders really do diagnose before they prescribe. This habit, it demands empathetic listening, restating what you hear, checking assumptions. Um, you know, you got to have a viewpoint with clarity and confidence. And so my practical plan in this is, you know, one-on-ones and tough meetings. I want to use a simple loop. I like loops. And so we want to reflect, clarify, and then respond. And so this way we can reduce my talk time to under, I'm in sales, so talk time is pretty big. Uh, critical conversations and summarize the other person's viewpoints before we propose solutions. So I really want to maintain a running list of, miscommunications caught on early by better listening, sharing lessons, and having quarterly skill tune-ups with my fellow teammates. And so moving forward from principles to practice, we know that we need to that leadership starts today, and that these 5 lessons in proactivity, purpose-driven leadership, priority, execution, win-win collaboration, empathetic listening, these are all forms of coherent systems, right? And they're leading yourself with others to integrity and impact. And so the key is to making them real consistent, right? Deliberate practice combined with honest reflection. And so don't try to implement everything at once. Just choose one habit, focus on that for the month, track your progress, and notice when you start to succeed and when you slip. Adjust your systems, right? We discuss what you're learning with a trusted friend or coworker. Small, sustained improvements compound in transformative change all the time. And so remember, leadership effectiveness, this is built from the inside out. Invest in your character, clarify your purpose, and practice these habits with discipline. The results for you and those around you will follow. So as Stephen R. Covey says, the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to build your schedule to your priorities. Thank you, everybody. Talk to you soon.